Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So another update about SJSU and the forfeits. The whole volleyball saga continues. So in my last video, I spoke about how the associate head coach has filed a complaint. She has filed a complaint against the NCAA, Mountain Westview, and the university itself, SJSU. And we're all talking about how brave it is of her. This is Melissa Batie-Smoose. She filed a complaint. A 33-page document was filed detailing some examples of showing favoritism towards a transgender player. She said a culture of self-censorship was created where women are afraid to speak out. She called out her colleague, Todd Kress, and said that he bends over backwards to accommodate all these requirements, to accommodate the transgender player, even at the expense of the female athletes. So of course, everybody was wondering what the repercussions were going to be, of her speaking out. And sadly, she has been suspended. She has been suspended from her position as associate head coach. And she says that they are trying to silence her. She's speaking to publications, and the complaint in itself is very revealing. The complaint exposes the full extent of what these female athletes have been put through. So check out my first video if you haven't already seen that. An Australian publication, Quillette, and a writer based in Toronto did a fantastic job explaining and breaking down her complaint. So before we get into it, as it comes to Title IX, the changes that have been implemented so far are in relation to female spaces. They haven't touched upon female sports yet because of the election coming up. I guess they want to ease that in slowly. So in terms of female spaces on college campuses that are federally funded, someone can't be denied access to those spaces based on gender identity. So it essentially means that men can enter into women's spaces if they identify as women. They get the same rights as females when it comes to access to certain spaces. So as it stands, you can still seek recourse under Title IX for discrimination in sports. And that's what Melissa has done. But sadly, it looks like she's being punished for this. She's been suspended and they're trying to silence her. Outkick has learned that San Jose State suspended associate head volleyball coach Melissa Batie-Smoose indefinitely, effective as of Saturday. The SJSU players were informed prior to the team's match against New Mexico, and many of the team members were emotional upon learning of the news, according to sources. San Jose State said in a statement to Outkick, "The associate head coach of the San Jose State University women's volleyball team is not with the team at this time, and we will not provide further information on this matter." So cold, so cold. You could imagine how the girls are feeling about this. You could imagine the message it sends to these girls, that if you don't agree with what we're doing in allowing a male player to be on the team, you could be out on your ear. That's the message that's being sent. Batie-Smoose filed a Title IX complaint against the school earlier this week. The assistant coach not only filed a complaint, but spoke to an outlet about the toxic culture created by having transgender player Blaire Fleming on the team. As a result of that interview, San Jose State issued a statement to Outkick. San Jose State takes all reports and complaints seriously and is reviewing them. Due to federal and state policy laws, the university is not able to comment on active reports or complaints, the statement read. And then they said that publications reporting on this story are spreading inaccuracies. The university also has concerns about the number of inaccuracies in the article, but it is not able to comment further on those in light of those privacy laws. In addition, the university has significant concerns about apparent breaches of student and employee privacy and will be addressing those as appropriate. Unless they prove that this person is female and we were wrong about that, then what these publications are reporting is factual, that they have a male player on the team, and as a result, 5 teams have forfeited because female players do not want to play against a team that has a male player. And safety concerns are a real issue. That's not a figment of their imagination. Apparently, after taking a few days to review the breaches of student and employee privacy, the school made the decision to suspend Batie-Smoose. And guys, it's also being reported that the transgender player sought to seek revenge against Brooke Slusser, allegedly sought to seek revenge, because she has spoken out and she has joined the lawsuit against the NCAA. Reportedly, according to the Title IX complaint filed by the associate head coach and obtained by Quillette, Fleming allegedly conspired with an opponent to help San Jose State lose a match and attempt to injure teammate Brooke Slusser. Fleming and another unnamed Spartans player met with Colorado State player Malaya Jones prior to the two teams playing on October 3. The complaint continues. Batie-Smoose says that Fleming and a teammate left the team hotel, a violation of team policy, the night before the match to visit Jones at her residence. During this meeting, Fleming allegedly gave Jones scouting reports for San Jose State and made a deal to not defend shots from Jones that would be hit towards Slusser. It almost reminds me of the friggin' Karate Kid moment. Sweep the leg. That's what it reminds me of, but this is real life. According to Quillette, Batie-Smoose learned of this meeting after the unnamed Spartans player confessed to head volleyball coach Todd Kress. If this is in fact true, I want to know what Todd Kress did to protect Brooke. Slusser has spoken publicly many times about Fleming's inclusion on the team being unfair. She first spoke on September 30. The match against Colorado State was San Jose State's first after Slusser went public with her concerns about Fleming, which led to Batie-Smoose to surmise that Fleming conspired with Jones as part of a revenge plot against Slusser. So Mountain West, they said that they are aware of the complaint. They became aware of the complaint earlier this week. Nothing about this plot, though, to hurt Brooke. So they're reviewing the documents and they have initiated an investigation to gather all the facts. But if this is in fact true, it just reinforces a lot of the negative experiences these female athletes and women who stand up for women's sports have experienced when it comes to these entitled males. So Colorado State hasn't responded at the time of this article in relation to the allegations. If the allegations are true, they are incredibly serious. Not only would Fleming have thrown a match, Fleming would have knowingly and purposefully endangered a teammate. So it goes on to say that in situations like this, when it comes to a young person dealing with gender dysphoria, for example, we have empathy, we have compassion for that person, even if we disagree with them competing in the women's category. But if this is true, that means we have a transgender player plotting to hurt a female athlete, plotting revenge because women speak out for themselves. And that empathy whittles away as a result. So obviously people want to know how Melissa is doing. Now, I don't believe that she never saw this coming and she didn't think this through and she wasn't well aware that she could lose her job over this. I'm sure she took that into consideration and went ahead and did what she believed was right. She's given us an update and she says that the university is trying to silence her. She said, "We had a match today at 12 p.m. versus New Mexico. I was there at 10:15 a.m. because we were scheduled to take court at 10:30 for our pass and serve time. I walked into the building and was walking up the stairs to go to the gym. And I was met by administration, who asked me to step outside and speak privately." We all know what that means. At that point, SJSU officials informed Batie-Smoose that she was suspended indefinitely, effective immediately, and forced to turn over her keys and school ID. She was not allowed to gather her belongings from her office and told to leave campus immediately, and instructed not to return to campus until further notice. They said I would have to contact personnel at a later date to get into my office to get any of my belongings. So she was handed an envelope with a notice of her suspension and instructed not to speak to the media or any of the players on the San Jose volleyball team. But she decided to speak to Outkick regardless of the mandate. She said this is just another form of what San Jose State has been trying to do: silence people that are speaking up for their First Amendment rights and for what's right. I want to make sure I'm standing strong that only women should be in women's sports. She was adamant that she would not stop speaking up about an important issue in society. I just want to protect women's sports and protect the members of our team. I'm concerned about Brooke Slusser and the majority of the team because they're being silenced and their thoughts and feelings don't matter to San Jose State University. So it's unlikely that she's going to return to San Jose State this season. I don't know how the female players are going to react to this. I'm so sorry to hear that this is happening to Melissa. She deserves better. She's looking out for the female athletes who she coaches. She's looking out for these girls. She's doing a wonderful thing. And I'm sure these young ladies absolutely appreciate her for everything she's doing and everything she's putting on the line. I mean, this is history in the making. And the actions of coaches like Melissa are going to go down as the people who stood up for these young girls in the midst of all this insanity, in the midst of all these threats against them, physical threats, threats of losing their scholarships, threats of being labelled, pressure being put on them. To have someone like Melissa stand up for them makes all the difference. So we have to stick together and we have to support Melissa during this time. So let me know what you think. I mean, I'm still in shock about that plot, that alleged plot. I'm still in shock about that. Melissa has spoken out. Todd, on the other hand, will continue to keep his head in the sand. And I pray that no female athletes get hurt on his watch. So thanks for watching. Please take care of yourselves. And God willing, I will see you in the next video.